Let me go to Jerry. Jerry calling us from Kentucky. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Dan. It's Gary, G-A-R-Y.
Oh, Gary. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Good morning. God bless you. I've been listening for 15, 20 minutes here. And I normally listen to you every morning. I run my kids back and forth to school. Quickly, Dan, I'm 61.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stay-at-home dad. My wife is 48 in 2 months. And she has a real good paying job in industry local here.
Mm-hmm.
My intentions are, I'll be 62 in a few months. My intentions are to go ahead and start drawing SSI at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was advised by friends and financial experts, if you will, that the law is if you need it, draw it. If you don't need it, wait till 65. Well, we need it, and I planned on going ahead and draw it. Plus, I preached for a couple of years in a denomination, and I gained about roughly $30K that I can get a third of that at 62, and then they pay the other $20K in annuities for, I guess, the rest of my life. If they pay it to me, we get about $100 a month. If it goes through my wife, she would get about $70 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I am, Dan. I guess either maybe you want to hold me up as what not to do, because I didn't plan real well for this thing. We started a family late in life. I have now 4 children, 15, 12, 9, and 7. People think they're my grandkids, but they're my kids. But could you comment on that drawing SSI at 62 as opposed to 65? The gentleman told me if I start drawing it at 62, it would take 15 years before there was a catch-up as opposed to drawing at 65.
Mm-hmm. I'd be happy to comment on that, Jerry, and thank you for your encouragement. I sure appreciate it. Here's what I would say, and I've said this before. Everything I say flies in the face of what everybody else says. So, and I use the fellow that talked to you as an example, Jerry. First of all, I think if you need to take it, of course, take it. That's a given. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you need it, you take it. That's what it's there for, and you should take it. But my frustration with some of the things that continue to happen with financial people that give advice, they're looking at someone that's 62, and they're still talking to them about accumulation. And there's a day when you're not working any longer that accumulation should not be a consideration. It's just my opinion. Because here's what I know, having sat across a lot of kitchen tables from a lot of older people, and having managed hundreds of millions of dollars, I can tell you that someday when you're 75 or 80, the only thing you're going to care about is how much money you have coming in every month. And I think that it is an injustice for anybody to say draw early because you're going to receive, $350,000 more money over your lifetime than you would if you don't. I don't care about the $350,000 over my lifetime. I care about how much money I'm getting every month. Use myself as an example. You and I are around the same age. I use myself as an example. I'm not collecting until I'm 70. Now, I assuming, I'm still working. I plan on working. I'm not collecting until I have to at 70. I will get about a 32% increase per month. 32%. That's almost 1/3 more every month by waiting. And again, I go back. I don't think I'm going to be any different than anybody else. I think someday if the Lord tarries and I'm still here when I'm 80, listen, I'm going to care about how much I got coming in every month. So I'm waiting because I can. But if you can't, of course, don't. And so, but the premise of when you withdraw, and I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. Everybody needs to go to my website, financialissues.org, and read. It's right at the front, right on the front page there. You don't have to go any further. There's a little banner there in the top middle box that says a case for income. Click on it and read it. It's well worth the read, but I'm making a case that we need to change our way of thinking. So financial people have told us all our life, as we invest in 401ks and IRAs, that we need to save, because the goal is to accumulate wealth. And I don't mean wealth in a, millions of dollars standpoint, but, savings, or to accumulate. So accumulate. That's what they tell you to do. I think that's the right thing to do, and I think they should be saying that. I think they should be scaring people into saving and accumulation. But they can't make the switch. I don't know what's the matter with them, but they can't flip the switch and say, okay, it's time to stop that. You've already done that. Here's what you have. And start thinking about what can you do to maximize your monthly income. Statistically speaking, if you're listening to me and you're a married couple and you are over 55 and you're still a married couple, then chances are one of you are going to live to be in your 90s. That's a lot of time to outlive your money. And you ought to be concerned about having income that you can count on. I happen to be of the mindset that Social Security is not going anywhere and it's going to be there, but you ought to maximize it. So just the premise, I understand where you're coming from. And frankly, I would tell anybody in your situation, if somebody said to me, hey, I'm 62 years old, I really need some income, additional income. I'm trying to raise young kids and I need a few extra dollars. What do you think about taking Social Security? I would tell them to take it. So I don't want you to think I'm saying don't take it. I'm not. I would tell them exactly what you said. I would say take it. I mean, it's there. Start taking it now. I mean, you need it. Take it. But that wouldn't be my preference unless you have to. So I'm fine. I'm fine with what you're doing. I think it's that's what it's there for, and I'm fine with that. As far as the annuity thing goes, I always like a 2-life annuity when you take your pension that is annuitized. I know it's $30 less, but especially in your case, your wife is almost certain that she's going to far outlive you. Now, if she has other provisions where she says, okay, someday when you're gone, I'm going to be fine. This $100 a month is going to be pretty meaningless, and as far as not going to make a lot of difference to my lifestyle, then I would just do the single life. But if that's not the case, then try to get all the income you can.
I do. Let's say, okay, I'm going to start drawing at 62 SSI.
Yes.
What kind of restriction? And see, our kids, what in 10 years will just, if you say it real quick, they'll be out the door, and we may end up, it's just me and her again in 10 years. Right. What kind of restrictions will I have on, say I get back in the workforce, or I have a chemistry degree, also an MDiv for Masters of Divinity. If I were to want to get back in the workforce for even a short time, what kind of restrictions do I have restrictions on the amount of income I can make?
You only have restrictions, Jerry, if you are pretty much set on the fact that you don't want to pay any taxes on your Social Security. So in my opinion, you have no restrictions, because worst case scenario, you're earning so much money that you've got to, pay tax on some of your Social Security. That's not the end of the world. And I wouldn't concern myself with that. So if you make over $44,000 a year in your Social Security time, 50% of your Social Security is going to be taxable as income. So, but that's okay. I mean, you're making money. So to me, there's no real restrictions. It's just a matter of the more money you make, the closer you get. It starts at about $25,000 and it's prorated up to 50% of your Social Security being taxable. Then over 45, it goes up to 85%.